Okay, after a couple of abortive starts with this one, because I started on a hard level and it was really hard. I'm gonna try and come up with a few hints and tips for the Wonderstudio, or Candy Crush Saga as it might also be known for copyright purposes. Right, okay, so it's just a standard level, so I'm not going to use any of the boosters. It is always handy to have a few in reserve. They will come out of various treasure chests, occasionally daily gifts and this, that and the other, or they can be bought using the in-game currency, which I've got, I think, 700 and something coins at the minute. It's enough to get a couple of useful ones. So this one, the level straight away looks like the temptation is to destroy the wooden blocks. However, the actual level goal is to get rid of 50 of the broccolis, I guess you could call them. So that's the important thing. Straight away it's suggesting a move that will get rid of some of the broccolis. The moves it suggests aren't always the best ones. It's not a bad one because it will clear 3 of the green ones, the broccolis, and will also have the effect of damaging one of the wooden boxes above it. So the wooden boxes are secondary because if they're out of the way, there's more chance of generating some decent power-ups and decent chain reactions, shall we say. But I can see a move for a power-up straight away that I think is going to be useful, so I'm going to move this blue one here across to create what will be a horizontal rocket. There we are, taking out some of the boxes with it. Not sure what's the best row to fire it across really. I think where it is, just see what happens. It could have moved it up or down a row. Now that's moved some of the green out of the way and it's opened up the board a little bit as well. So at this point I'm now going to concentrate on doing some of the green moves and see what chain reactions, if any, we get. Don't have to have chain reactions, but they can be nice. Again, we got room for power-ups here. The blues and the yellows here, there's, if I go one above where it's showing us, I've got the chance to create 2 decent power-ups. So I can move the yellow left, which will create a pinwheel, a square of 4 yellows, and generate a pinwheel, and will also generate another horizontal rocket from the blue column. So that's what I'm going to do. There we are. I've got some green gone at the top, 36 of those left. Now, yeah, okay, let's do the suggested move there. That's 3 green gone, and also removes a wooden block as well. I've got a nice little power-up move over here on the left. If I move the blue one down, takes out that line and creates 4 with the green, which is one of the goals, and generates a pinwheel. Pinwheel being quite a nice power-up. Now, the pinwheel down at the bottom here, if I double tap it where it is, it will clear tiles above, below and to the left and right of it as well, one of which is green, so that's good. Could swap it with the green as well, but there's not really an advantage one way or the other here, I don't think. If I move it to the right, it will start off the rocket beneath it, but I don't think that's really any use at this point. So I'm just going to fire it where it is, and it will take out 1 green on the start, and my guess is it will probably pick out another green for us. In fact, before I do that, let's do the suggested move. Get rid of those 3 greens. Don't want it taking one of them and removing the opportunity to make a nice easy match. So fire off the pinwheel. There we go, 1 green gone, second one taken out as well. Nice obvious move up at the top, that green up to create a power up and take out 4 as well. It's suggesting I merge the pinwheel and the rocket. That's probably not an awful move. Let's give it a go. The alternative for me was to move that rocket across one and fire it into the pinwheel, which should create its own chain reaction. I don't think anyone's better or worse than the other really, so let's find out. It's going to be quite tricky to set these off without doing them individually, which is not what I want. So yeah, that finishing position wasn't ideal. I'd have rather it taken out one of the wooden blocks, but because that's not a goal of the level, it doesn't do that. So what can we have down here? Down here we've got choices. We can create a pinwheel, we can create a bomb. I can just do that suggested move, get rid of the wooden blocks as well. Or a vertical rocket. And the reds above it give some... Oh, there's a chance for a 5 there. Never ignore the chance for a 5. And let's... There we go. More or less done. So let's merge it with the bomb and just see what happens. That's bound to complete the level. It has, in quite flamboyant style. Always nice if you can do that, particularly to merge it with a rocket. If you're in the rockets game or competition, you get, the more rockets you create, the better. That will generate somewhere between 20 and 30 on most levels. That's always quite good. But more importantly is it doesn't have to be a clever move, it just has to work. So yeah, if you've got the opportunity to just do something simple that will win the level or hit a goal, do it. However, right, this one looks a little bit nasty. What's the goal? The goal is to match yellows. Straight away it is offering up a move that will free some yellows and, quite importantly, break one of these blooming chains, of which there are many, thus making the board look quite tantalising with potential moves to match 3, most of which are blocked off by locked bits. So it's suggesting that we move the pinks together up there, but that doesn't really generate anything particularly hopeful as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't break an obstacle, it doesn't meet one of the level goals, and it also offers very limited opportunity for new stuff to drop onto the board. So I'm actually going to go further down here, and this blue can be moved across to the left, create a column of 3 vertically and break the chain down there, which hopefully will lead to some nice chain reactions. Oh, it has, that's quite nice. Hasn't really got rid of much in the way of yellow. The move it's suggesting here is pretty much the one I'm going to make, is merge the two together. Either one on their own will generally create a bit of a mess and break a few things up, but put them together, and you have to be quite careful about doing this, otherwise that happens and the two of them go off separately. Not the end of the world, it has done okay. Let's try it again, see if we can actually get them to go off as a combination. This is what I wanted to do. Generates 3 rockets up, down, left and right, and on the right hand side of this particular board there's no obstacles blocking the moves now at all, whereas on the left there's still plenty, which is slightly annoying. There is a move to get some yellows matched on the left, so we'll take that while the opportunity is there. We can generate a 4 there like it's suggesting as well. It's not a bad move. Again, take some yellows, which was the goal, and also move some obstacles as well. Where that pinwheel is, I'm going to move that across to the right. The suggested move would be quite nice. It creates a bomb power up, which if the goal was to break the chains would be quite useful down in that bottom corner where everything's hard to get to, and that will free that up. However, that's not the goal here, so I'm going to move the pinwheel across there, and that takes out 2 yellows on the way and then gets a 3rd as well. So we're down to 6 needing to be matched now, which where are they? I feel the right hand side of the board is probably more conducive to actually getting some matches out of the way. I'm going to try and do vertical movements to bring more stuff onto the board wherever possible. That's created a power up. That's 3 straight away when I fire that off, so let's do that. Oh, that's nice. And I've hit the goals. The next move I was going to make was to use the coloured gem on the yellow, which would have basically won the level for me, even if I hadn't won it already. Anyway, that's that one gone. Let's do another one, see how we get on with that. yeah, you get lots of experience points doing these, and treasure items, and the things that are used to banish the monsters. So next time I need to banish a monster, I'm definitely going to have the right power up to do that. Let's pick up the next one, see what we got. Again, I'm going to go in without a booster. I like to see the levels before committing to using a booster, even on the hard ones, although it can backfire. Right, this one, the goal is purely to get the 3 crystals in the middle, which are untouchable by any means other than what would have to be either pinwheels or rockets. Pinwheels being better because they can be launched from anywhere and hit a target, and it will not always go for the thing you most want, but it does prioritise the goals that the game sets. So in this instance, there isn't a choice; it will still go for the crystals, which is the good thing. But there's not a lot of room for movement on the board as it is, so we are going to have to break open these wooden ones, ideally by putting 3 against the wood wherever possible. So so a nice rocket power up there, which can take out that entire left side. Generated some good chain reactions, nothing I can actually work with, unfortunately. Again, good chain reactions. Nothing. Oh, there we are. We've got a pinwheel set up there with the greens. Kind of feel like there's a, where the reds are set there, there's the possibility of getting another pinwheel in there. Yeah, there we are. I was right. And oh look, we did have room for a third, but I chain reaction myself out of it. So that's 2 of the 3 that we need. If they were right beside each other, they could be combined together, and that would actually generate 3 pinwheels and create all the move that's needed. In this instance, I'm going to just use 1 move to trigger them both, and we just need another one to come our way, which let's see, that move could lead to one. It hasn't. Not ideal. Never mind. There's one that's just happened by accident, so don't need to be clever about this. Off it goes. Level done. Plenty of the wood left on the board. Don't get distracted by it if it's not the goal. So I've got a few bits and pieces, more experience, a treasure thing, something to banish the pixie, gloves for the orangery, which I've already completed, so they're completely useless to me now, and 1 cinema ticket. So in we go into the Wonderstudio again. Again, no boosters. Tips at the bottom, not necessarily for the coming level, but always useful tips nonetheless. I quite like these ones, although they can be really hard as well. So I've got 2 goals here. One is to break open 18 bubbles, which will be all of them. And the secondary goal, well, the other goal is to paint all the board green underneath. So the move it's suggesting at the minute is total rubbish. It's not going to generate a power up, it's not going to bring much onto the board, and it doesn't service the goals in any way. That's a wasted move. Not going to be doing that. What I want to do is start somewhere where there's green stuff around, and be able to pop bubbles, ideally both. So these blues here, well, so I'm going to start on the right as well, because it's going to be easier than starting on the left. The stuff will fall into the bit on the right, whereas if I start over on the bubbles on the left, less stuff is going to fall onto the screen. So I prefer to start working on lower bits, subconsciously more than anything else, I think. But they're all, we've got a power up. So do we go with a bomb, which is suggesting, or a vertical rocket? Tricky one. I think I'm going to go with the vertical rocket, actually, because the bomb would get this area green, which is all well and good. In fact, move those greens around and paint them green there. and get those yellows sorted out as well. But when I fire the rocket off, it really takes the green up across the board, whereas the bomb only moves it around the bomb itself. You can get good coverage. There's a good way to get into these corners, but it's not ideal. I think a horizontal rocket is going to be the way I'm going to go here, because that will affect both sides of the board, which is very handy, or can be very handy. I'll move the green out ever so slightly there. This rocket that I've generated, not actually all that much use at the moment, unfortunately. However, I've created a pinwheel beside it, and you can, if you're careful with the way you trigger them, combine the two together. So I'm going to do that. There we are, that's got into that awkward corner and covered the whole thing together. So that combination of power-ups worked a lot better than any one of them individually. It's got that irritating single green square there. Really feels like that ought to just be able to move out of the way with one move, but I don't think I've got a valid move that will do it. It might provoke a chain reaction into it. Let's have a look. Not quite a chain reaction, slightly wasted move there. So the right hand side of the board is now dealt with, so it's over to the left hand side, and oh, that's not a bad move that it's suggesting. And then there's a rocket power up to be had just there as well. In fact, there's another one there. I'm going to combine the bomb and the rocket, hopefully. Again, need to be quite sensitive. It's suggesting generating a pinwheel. I like the pinwheels ordinarily, but at this point some brute force does the job much nicer, I think. So there we are, it's worked as well. Now that's taken out all the bubbles, that's one goal gone, so now I just need to worry about getting the green paint into the bottom half of the board, which shouldn't be too bad now. Yeah, I can pretty much do this now. And just for a chain reaction, why not? There you go. That's that level done. Nine moves spare, a couple of decent power-ups left on the board, it's all good. Right, away you go. Let's have a look at another one, shall we? It's quite a long video now. I thought I was quicker at playing this. Clearly not. Right, again, no boosters, in we go. Let's just see what we get. Oh, a 3-colour board. Oh, I like these because combinations just happen without you even having to try terribly hard. Well, let's do that suggested move. Not awful, also not terribly useful, unfortunately. Any other power-ups in the making? Not right now that I can see. So let's just get rid of one of those crystals, which is the stated aim of the level. In fact, we've got it's not a stated aim. I've been distracted. The stated aim is to get the suns down to the bottom, which will largely need. Oh, there's an opportunity for a 5. Can't let that go a begging. Oh no. And a pinwheel beside it. Oh, much better if they'd actually been together, which can create. Okay, so coloured gem and pinwheel, that's going to do some damage. Probably more or less do the level for me, I should think. Certainly get rid of those bloody crystals. And there we are, yeah, it's done it. So yeah, it doesn't have to be clever, but clever's good as well. 31 moves spare, that's possibly a record. 31! Right. So that was quite a quick level. Let's do another one for you, why not? What we got this time? I do like the 3-colour boards because it looks like nothing to start with. We've got another 3-colour one here again. The aim here is to break the crystals and nothing else. I'm going to try and start lower down and hopefully just generate a power up. There we are, without even trying. Oh, and another coloured gem opportunity. Oh, look at that. coloured gem onto the rocket, and that should probably do the level. Tell me that one's going to survive. How did that escape that phalanx? Right, okay. Well, that's quite a long chain reaction coming off there. Good news, you can't get this wrong. I can just triggering that pinwheel will win the level, or I can move it across and trigger the pinwheel, and then if it hasn't got a goal to go for, those pinwheels will always go for the bottom right or the lowest right thing available. There's another opportunity for 5 there. So 3 colour boards, really very easy to generate power-ups on. You won't even notice you're doing it, they'll just appear. Oh, and a hard one. Let's see if any of my tactics actually pay off on this then. Money where mouth is. I mean, feel free to stop watching at this point, just in case I don't get this to go. Oh, this doesn't look nice. Right, okay, so goals: break all the ice crystals, which are locked, sadly very power-up resistant, and launch 14 rockets as well, of which we have several to begin with. Just all locked away. I mean, yeah, this is going to be a hard level. Not really a lot of option with how to start it, other than triggering a power-up like it's suggesting. So let's trigger a power-up and see what happens. Okay. Again, see what happens. These things are awful. I hate the ice crystals, I really do. So I haven't even damaged them yet. And here's the problem, yeah. The rockets will go straight across them when they've got the chains on them. Still got one with a chain on it, which is disappointing. But now any rocket that hits them will, unfortunately, probably be able to see this now, so it gets stopped dead on one. So that's not handy in the slightest. What I really want on this level then is something in the way of a coloured gem. In fact, very definitely a coloured gem. I'm going to combine those two together. That will generate slightly more pinwheels than they would individually. Let's free up this side of the board a bit. Hopefully we'll start seeing something happen. These two in combination are, well, they're a good combination. I'd rather that it was there or there, and it would really make a mess of these things. Let's try and actually combine them. Yeah, so it's done some stuff. It's still left us with an absolute mountain to climb, unfortunately. Bombs not much use to me unless they're actually over in here. Wouldn't be too much to ask for to actually get one. So I'm going to stick with these horizontal rockets for the time being. Oh, scope for a coloured gem. Coloured gem, gives a power up, gives a power up. In fact, there's... Now this should be nice. Go on, do your worst. Don't think it'll be quite enough to clear it. There's an awful lot of those bloody crystals. Hit the rocket goal total though. And yeah, still 4 crystals left to get. So, oh, opportunity for a 5. Just need it to be with a power up rather than with single colours, and that would be quite nice. Oh, there we are, that fell quite nicely. Bombs aren't quite as good as rockets for the coloured gems, but they're still not bad. That's quite good because they're relatively close to the crystals, so hopefully that will take most of them out. Yeah, the rockets would be a little bit better, I think. So, pinwheels, or yeah, pinwheels is the best hope at the minute to get rid of these two. I've only got 6 moves left. It's suggesting a horizontal rocket, which works well, but it's not anywhere near the target area, so instead I'm going to create a pinwheel. Hurrah. Well, let's get that fired off. Let's see where we are. Got any opening for a pinwheel or a rocket near here? Nothing. Ah, how frustrating. I can create a pinwheel though with that. No, I can't. Oh, how annoying. Oh dear, final move. And actually there is an alternative. I don't like doing it. You can buy me some magnifying glasses and then you can just take out that single pesky crystal. So it's essentially buying your way through the level, which isn't ideal, but it does work. It's also slightly cheaper than continuing to play after the moves have run out. So yeah, certainly useful to have a stack of cash available, 200 less than it was. And unfortunately, picking the Wonderstudio on its own, when it's not a mission for you, it doesn't generate cash, whereas the standard missions eventually do. When you've completed a quest, it'll give you 5, maybe 10 coins, depending on the severity of the level that you've cleared. So yeah, going on the Wonderstudio on its own is a very good way to burn through your lives and your cash if you get stuff wrong. Right, so the goal here is purely to get rid of the bubbles rather than the ice crystals. See? So I'm going to try not to be distracted by them to start with, at least. It would certainly make life easier if they weren't around, that's for sure. Very tricky to actually see what I'm doing here with the camera in the way. So the left hand side of the board cleared, and well, those 3 rockets there, they're essentially no use to me, although I will combine them as is suggested, and that'll clear some of the bubbles on the right hand side. Never a bad thing. Not all of them, unfortunately, but oh, a 5, can't ignore it, can you? Do I want to get rid of purples, or do I want to try and get that with a power up? Still got 30 moves left. Getting rid of purples will clear 3 of the goals, so I'm going to go for that. Much as I prefer using the coloured gem with other power-ups. Oh, as luck would have it, it's given me a coloured gem to use with a rocket, which that's got to clear the level, surely. Looks like it's going to. Paused, and yeah, done it. So yeah, that's cleared all the goals, left most of the ice crystals, and generated like half a dozen power-ups on that last cascade. So yeah, the ice crystals more or less gone. Would have had plenty of time to get rid of them if that was one of the goals. It wasn't, so I ignored them. Excellent. Of course it was. Okay, let's give it one more and we'll call time on it. Maybe. Okay, so the goals are to destroy all the wood and get the sun crystals down to the bottom. Don't know if sun crystals is the right term, but that's what it is. So the wooden bits, they're double strength wood as well. They're going to take a bit of doing. So ideally I'm going to get 3s vertically against the wood. Not always going to be possible. I've got a 3 there, but it's not against the wood. If I move that turquoise one across, that's going to be away from the wood. It's not really what I want. I'm going to go for the red, drop that sun crystal down a bit, since that is one of the goals. But I definitely would prefer damaging the wood. There we go, got some damage. And that vertical rocket that it's created, just ruined a horizontal one, but that takes the sun crystal straight off the board, so I don't need to worry about that one anymore. Oh, and the horizontal one is back. Let's pitch it as low as possible. Done some damage there. That's never a bad thing. Oh, look at that. So we've got nice coloured gem and a power up right beside it that's going to fall slightly too low to be useful, but as luck would have it, did manage to drop them together. Can be a bit contrived at times trying to get the coloured gems beside a power up, but if you can, it's very, very powerful. Using them against single colours is useful, but not as good. So what have we got here? Just got to destroy the wood now. That bomb isn't terribly useful where it is, actually. And a pinwheel right about now would be nice. Got plenty of moves left. There's only one bit of wood left, so shouldn't be too hard. It is, however, in an awkward part of the board, so there's not a great deal that's going to get at it directly. That move's no use, unfortunately. So yeah, a pinwheel would be best. I'm going to create a vertical rocket there, which isn't near enough to be useful. That one, however, is. There we are, that's the level sewn up. So yeah, rockets are good for clearing either vertical or horizontal lines, depending on which way you go, but they've only got a limited range. The pinwheel will launch from wherever and hit your target, so they're good. I did say one more, but what the hell. This is not a brief video, is it? I'm far slower at playing this than I ever imagined. Right, this one, not liking the look of this. We've got to get rid of the ice crystals and all the bubbles down the bottom. Unfortunately, the bubbles are empty, so any power-up that's launched now isn't going to do anything with them. The key to it is going to be breaking that bit of wood there, which will have to be done by some form of power-up. And unfortunately, there's nothing particularly conducive to creating one that's actually available at the moment, which is a bit of a pig. Got a vertical rocket there. It's good for the ice crystal, but not that bit of wood, unfortunately. Another one that's going to do the same. Or a chance for a 5, so I'm going to take that. Not near a power up, sadly, but yeah, let's get rid of that ice crystal, move the rocket across. Jolly good. Got a scope for a pinwheel there. Didn't quite mean to do that, however. Okay, so I think pinwheel would still be the best bet. Suggesting making a bomb over here with the turquoise ones, which is all well and good, but that's not near any of these target bits. So the key thing now is to hit that bit of blooming wood, which isn't going to be an easy thing to manage at all. Not with the board the way it is. I think there can just about create a pinwheel. Sadly not near enough to the coloured gem. Oh, there's a pinwheel there, so right, We're at least now into the bottom bit. Stuff should flow in there, and we'll see what happens. Oh, that's a nice power up inside there. Just trying not to destroy opportunities by firing off the power up into valid matching pairs. No, that's annoying. Right, okay. So, I'm going to trigger the pinwheel. Okay, so that's an annoying selection right there, that's what that is. So just 2 of the bubbles left. Unfortunately they're a little awkward to reach, and the different colours as well. I'm going to take out blue with the coloured gem now, because it's not doing a lot of use up at the top otherwise. So that's got one of them out of the way. Still doesn't help get that green. A pinwheel is going to be the best way to get that. And have we got anything on the board ready to generate a pinwheel? Not immediately, obviously, no. Got a few power-up generators. It's suggesting a bomb here, and there's a vertical rocket to be had there. But no use in getting that particular square. I could use the magnifying glass to get rid of it. But since we've got 13 moves left, I'm not about to take what's the fairly desperate option of doing that. So, what have we got here? There must be a pinwheel somewhere. No. Oops. That looks like it'd be ready to do one, but it's not, unfortunately. Get a horizontal rocket here, still no good. See, no good. Let's fire it off across there and see what happens. Hey, there's a pinwheel. So that's the level done. Yeah, not quite as good as a coloured gem on a power up and being complete overkill, but it works, it got the level done. Go on then, one more. You can swap a crystal if it helps, and it sometimes does. It's usually quite a clever way to launch a power up, is to swap it with the crystal. Can't move them because they're all locked in place at the minute, so this is looking like quite a vicious board. Got to clear all 11 bits of them, of the ice crystals, but they're all locked up to start with, just to be irritating. So yeah, much as I like the horizontal rockets, that was formed a bit too high up the board to be useful. I can drop it there. I've at least unlocked some of those. Definitely firing that bomb off where it is. There's a pinwheel. Ideally, I mean, pinwheels are great for launching where they are and hitting a target wherever. But if you can get these power-ups beside the ice crystals, it can be a much better way to get rid of them. So that's unlocked the majority of them. Ooh. You'll see what I mean here. So we've got a pinwheel down there. If I fire it off where it is, it'll take off the ice crystal beside it, and then it'll fly off somewhere else and hit another one. If I actually swap it with the ice crystal, it'll take out the one that's just diagonally above it, and the one we move as well, and then take out a third on landing as well, or at least unlock the one over in the corner. So that's quite a nice move. That's why I like launching the power-ups from beside the ice crystals. Oh, so now we've got coloured gem with a bomb, which I think that's done the level. Yes, there we are. Pesky things. 15 moves left after that. Coloured gem plus power up, always good. Coloured gem plus bomb, not necessarily great if your targets aren't on the main board. The bombs just aren't going to hit them. So rockets or pinwheels preferably. We'll do those. Another one. Yeah, you can double press your pinwheel to launch it or swap it with another movable element, and that's usually the best. Right, so the target here is to break open all the bubbles, and there's some of the pink bubbles which require a double hit. The suggested move, and there's a symmetrical one over on the other side, are actually quite good because they're going to generate, firstly, taking out the pinkness to make them just single colour bubbles, and we'll also create horizontal rockets which will be useful to clear out the middle ones. So I'm going to do both of the symmetrical moves there. So we've got horizontal rockets. They've fallen further than I planned for actually, which is sub-ideal because I can't get both rows in the centre, which I was hoping to be able to do. So I'm going to ignore the suggested move because although it generates a rocket, it will have the same effect of falling too far to be truly useful, and is ignoring the goal of clearing the bubbles. So I'm going to go above the suggested move, and that has taken care of a lot of those single colour ones, and similarly got rid of a few of those over there. So, oh, there we are, there's a chance for a 5 in there. And I think we're mostly done now, so we've just got 2 left. We'll fire off that rocket, which has taken out both of those and had the flamboyant effect of setting off the coloured gem as well. So coloured gem, good, but just not needed in that one. Really hope these videos come out okay, because otherwise it's been a bit of a wasted effort on my part. Okay, what we got here? So the target here is the coloured bubbles, or the bubbles. Single hit ones this time round. We've got a 3 colour board, which lends itself very well to chain reactions and generating power-ups where you're not necessarily expecting them. If I start off down the bottom, and it's not necessarily the best move to make, because until these wooden boxes, or stone boxes I think they're supposed to be, are cleared, nothing's going to fall into the bottom section. But I do like starting at the bottom nonetheless, and it is one of the target goals, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and make sure I damage the upper boxes with each move as far as possible. So on the right hand side, put the 3 reds up. You see nothing new's fallen in, problematic. Still got rid of a few of the things down there. I'm going to do the same on the left. So I've got rid of most of the coloured bubbles, but unfortunately nothing actually in them anymore. So it's now going to be a question of breaking through, whoops, the wooden barriers. And like I say, they do generate power-ups like no one's business. So that's the left-hand bit taken care of. Just need to break through on the right hand side. 3 colour board, easy enough really. And this will more or less take care of itself at this point. So I think just blowing up that bomb will do it. Yeah, level done. And didn't have to get all the wood. Don't be distracted. Oh, and another hard one coming up. go into it without the booster to see how hard it truly is, and this could be the point where I end the video if this gets the better of me. So we need to clear those 6 crystals which are out of the way, and all the wooden boxes as well, with no power-ups preemptively selected and none that are lending themselves to an obvious opening move. So I'm just going to start by trying to damage the wood as far as possible. So that's matching 3 against the wood. Oh, there's a pinwheel in there. I think if I launch the pinwheel, it's going to hit an ice crystal. It has. That's handy. That's good to know. Oh, there's not a lot of moves in here that are going to damage wood or create a power-up. That's really annoying. 31 moves. It sounds like plenty, and on an otherwise friendlier board it might be, but we're going to have real trouble getting into these corner bits without a decent power-up. So there we go, we've got a bomb. Let's damage the wood. Couple of decent chain reactions. The board is already looking a good bit friendlier than it once was. Far from ideal, but better than it was. That line on the bottom there is oh so tempting for the possibility of getting a 5, but there's no yellow to drop into it for miles around. If we could get a vertical rocket in there, that would be lovely. That's a horizontal one that can be created there. Don't know whether to move that rocket up a level and take out these, well, weaken the double strength boxes, or just go for the single strength ones. I think I'm going to go for the single strength ones and hope that was the right choice. Another horizontal rocket in the making there. Cleared out the right hand side of the board quite nicely. This will hit more targets than if I move it up a level. Couldn't move it down. Right, okay, I think I'm giving up the idea that that bottom row is going to translate into a 5. I'm just going to create the pinwheel here. Break open the wood as well, which is handy. Can't see any obvious benefits to firing it from one place or another. Can be very tactical with the way you launch the pinwheels. So have we got a power up in the making here? Not really. Nothing obvious. Not friendly. So I'm going to try just moving vertical stuff at the bottom of the screen and hope it generates chain reactions above it, which it has done. That move there has damaged the wood ever so slightly. So I've got a bomb there, up there, unfortunately. Not a lot of good. Down by the pinwheel, slightly more helpful. Hopefully it will take it somewhere good. That's taken out 2 ice crystals there for the price of 1. Down to 9 moves now. This is going to be a challenge in economising how the power-ups get used at this point. That's all the ice crystals gone at least. And now just the wood, which... there. Now here's what I mean about economising. I've got 2 of the pinwheels. I could fire them off individually, which will take 2 moves, and I've only got 6 left now. Or I can move them so that they launch together, so it's used them both up, but had the effect of doing 2 targets in one move. Still not looking particularly good here, I've got to say. Now that pinwheel's slightly annoying because it's not beside the wood, so I can't get a good hit out of it to start with. That was my finger slipping. That was improbably bad. Didn't want that at all. And yeah, this definitely isn't going to work. So, tips, not guarantees. That's tantalisingly close. Do I want to continue playing there? 5 more moves for 100 coins. Don't know if it's quite close enough. I'm going to try it because I have got plenty of coinage on the go. So that's more what I was trying to do earlier when my finger slipped, was to move the rocket over to hit a useful target. I think we are going to do this now. So there's a pinwheel, and yeah, 2 pinwheels, that's guaranteed now. And last pinwheel, done. So yeah, another way of buying your way through the level. I don't like doing it, but it is a valid move. I don't know whether that counts as a loss or not in terms of the achievement for consecutive puzzle success. But yeah, rather than pick a booster at the start where you don't know what the level is going to be like, you might be lucky enough to get your way through a hard level without having to use one of the boosters. Although you might need to to basically buy it mid round. It's unfortunate you can't buy one of the pre-selection boosters during the round when you look at it and go, oh, that's horrible, I'm going to need a coloured gem, or something along those lines. So the target here, on first glance you think it's going to be break all the wood. It's actually not. It's just to get 50 of the red counters off the board. So I'm going to start with a few of the more obvious matches. I think I've done all of them. Oh, there's a 5. We like 5s. And yeah, since what am I saying? The goal here is to hit the reds. Well, I can hit several. There's 44 reds outstanding. That particular manoeuvre has taken it down to 27. Put loads more back on the board. Chain reaction, another 3 off the back of it as well. And it's really opened the board up as well, which is very nice. So pinwheel there will take out a red on launch and a red on landing. Oh, a very nice set of chain reactions off the back of that as well. Down to 11 now. It's looking basically quite hard to fail. There's a scope for another 5 over here, so I'm going to take it. A little bit unfortunate that it hasn't landed me up beside a red, since reds are the ones we want to get rid of. There we are. This ought to clear the board pretty much. Yeah, 11. There's probably 11 there. Yeah, target hit. Oh, look at this. These chain reactions will be going for quite some time, I think. I'll probably shift all the wood off the board as well. Yeah, it's all gone with that last little one there. All the wood's gone. So yeah, that's quite satisfying. But yeah, don't be distracted. Even if it looks like you need to get rid of the wood, the actual goal in that instance wasn't to. Sometimes one begets the other, but not always. Okay. Goals on this one are to clear off the 11 ice crystals. Technically, don't need to break the wood to do it. Just need an awful lot of pinwheels, but I haven't got any. I would like to try starting doing something that's actually going to damage the wood, but there doesn't seem to be a move that will do it. So, tried and tested, start at the bottom, try a vertical move. It's brought some of the ice crystals out, which I wasn't quite expecting. Things slide diagonally on this game, which is unexpected because it looks structurally sound. If it was water, it'd certainly drip through, but they shouldn't move in the way they're moving. So I created a couple of power-ups there. This one I've got the choice of clearing that crystal, or that one. I'm going to take the middle one because it brings out a lot of this wood as well, which might be helpful. Might not be. Now, pinwheel. I'm going to move that pinwheel into there. Swap it with the purple heart. If I just launch it where it is, it's going to damage one crystal. If I move it across, it will take out 2 when it launches and a 3rd when it lands. So that's being clever about the way you use the power-ups. Also, it took out the furthest ice crystal as well, which was handy, because that would have been really awkward to get to otherwise. So it's, yes, a way of using your power-ups effectively, even if you're not constrained by number of moves. We've got 22 moves left, which seems like a lot. There's still quite a few targets to go, but on levels which are really rationing the number of moves you can make, very effective ways of triggering the power-ups is definitely a very handy thing to be able to do. So I've got another pinwheel there. So again, if I launch it where it is, it's going to take out nothing on launch and take out 1 on landing. If I move it across, it will take out 1 there and a 2nd as well, which is good. So I'm going to create a vertical rocket there. Get rid of that one. Oh, room for another pinwheel here. Oh, I think we're done. Oh no, not quite. Oh, actually, this, yes. If I launch it where it is, it will take out the one beside it, and then probably that one as well. If, however, I swap it with the ice crystal that it's beside, it'll be able to take out it and the one at the bottom as well. That's the 2 gone, and then that's the level goal. So yeah, the power-ups can be hard to create, so make the most of them when you do get to use them, particularly with ice crystals, which block rockets. So a line of bubbles or crates will be taken out by a rocket. A line of ice crystals, only the first will get hit by the rocket. So if you can take out several in one go with a craftedly placed pinwheel or bomb, very satisfying to do. Coming up to the hour mark, I shall probably knock it on the head as an hour-long video if anybody's still watching. Okay, right, goals are the bubbles, which are empty at the moment, and all the wood. Not going to focus on the wood over here to start with. I want to get through the wood on the left to fill the bubbles up, because they can't be popped when they're empty. So the move it's suggesting will damage 2 bits of wood. You could go for vertical and only damage 1, so I'm going to take 2. Same here, it's damage 2, so that's broken open the, well, filled the bubbles at least. Just hasn't done a great deal, unfortunately, in being able to make matches inside those bubbles now. God, there's not a lot in the way of useful moves available on this board that I can see. There's nothing that's going to chip through, top or bottom or to the side, and nothing that's going to create a power-up, which is very tiresome. Very tiresome. So the move it's suggesting is next to useless, no power-up, no goal, and it isn't going to bring much onto the board. So instead I'm going to go lower down and just try a vertical one, see what we get out of it. Been a little bit better, so I've now got a horizontal rocket. I'm gonna, rather than fire it where it is, that wooden block won't be destroyed, and it'll hit 2 over here. If I move it up a level, it will destroy that wooden block, which will let stuff leak into the bubbles, and it'll also take out the same number of wooden blocks over here, which actually gives a little opportunity there to clear those ones and forget about them because they were in an awkward position. So, oh, we've got room for a vertical power up now, vertical rocket power up. Just before I do that, mustn't forget the actual goal of clearing the bubbles. So take out a few of those. Now that rocket will launch and take out wood immediately beneath it, which is one of the goals. But if I move it to the left, it will take out a bubble and 2 woods down there and also fill up those. So that's the move I'm going to make. Slightly more useful one. Oh, create a pinwheel, why not? Oh, pinwheel and a rocket. Let's combine those and see if it does something kind. Oh yeah, that's quite helpful. Reasonably helpful at least. I've gone for the temptation of a horizontal rocket there. Unfortunately, where it has landed up, it's no use at all. So, don't always get tempted by the power-ups, not always. Now down here I've got a choice. I can create, as it's suggesting, a horizontal rocket, which wouldn't be the worst in the world. It will damage the wood there and there, which is good, since that's one of the goals. But the horizontal rocket itself, much like the one above it, isn't going to hit anything useful, unfortunately, and would jeopardise what could be a bomb power up there, although there's no red near it to finish that off, and also the bomb where that isn't much use. So I'm going to go for a pinwheel instead. It'll damage less wood, but has created hopefully something slightly more useful. Certainly filled up that side of the board. I think a pinwheel is probably the way to go there. Kind of, that corner's definitely going to be awkward. However, fortuitously those yellows will clear it. So we've got rid of all the bubbles. Now it's just these 4 bits of wood up in the top right that we need to get rid of. And that's basically going to be creation of pinwheels to do that. So, where best to start? I don't really know. Fire that rocket off. And that's done nothing. Oh dear, right. It's all about creating chain reactions anyway. So, sometimes just smashing things up will help create combinations that you're more interested in. There, that's going to get 1 full column at least. So, what else do we have? It looks like there's going to be a 4 to be had there, but I don't think there is. Take its suggested move, which hasn't done any good. There we are. Pinwheel. Need 2. Although could get lucky with the way the colours land. Nope. So another pinwheel required. That'll generate a vertical rocket, the suggested move. That's not a whole lot of use where it is. Swap these over, that takes 6 things off the board. And that generates a bomb for all the use that that is. Oh, that's most unfortunate, isn't it? So, I don't think there's a way of doing this in the 1 remaining move. That's very unfortunate. Not a good way to end my video at all. But as is being suggested over here with the magnifying glass, could just scan my way through and take out the block manually. So yeah, it's a valid tactic if you're pushed for moves. Yeah, I'd have far rather finished on a better note than that, but there you go. Hopefully you've seen some gameplay tips in there that will prove useful at some stage along the way. So good luck with Wonderstudio.